Happy Halloween, you guys. It's your boy Drey tuning in live. If you know what this character is, comment down below the name you think this is. But overall, stay tuned. We about to get into this video. It's your boy.
So first, I'm going to go ahead and use this one ply of tissue that I broke into several pieces and some milk of magnesia. So the milk of magnesia is really used serving as a mold to hold this tissue paper. I really just came up with this on the fly so it can be quick and easy in case you need a last minute DIY costume. So basically I'm just creating the outline now for Venom's mouth. His mouth obviously from the movie is very wide with the long sharp snarling teeth. So we're just creating this outline on the face. I will say if you have a smooth surface to work on, it is much easier. So if you rather like lay down the hairs on your face, it would be creating a better base for you to start off with. So now that we are done outlining the entire mouth, we're gonna go ahead in with some black paint. This black paint was like $1.99 from the thrift store, and we're gonna go ahead and fill in the outer marks to create that entire black casting around his face. As you can see, Drey gets a little bit hesitant about the paint because he wants to make sure, but this was non-permanent paint. And as you can see here, I put this in to show that there were mistakes that I made. There were gaps. So this is me refilling in part of the tissue paper that had fell off because you are working with pretty fragile products. So, you know, just whenever you're putting that molding, try to let it, cool down and set it with a fan like I'm doing here. Drey is so bourgeois. I love it. Get it, So going back in with this paint again. And we are going to go all the way around the face to create that outlining like I mentioned. So I will say that we did really run into some problems more towards these areas because like I said, Drey does have a beard and we weren't really trying to lay down all of his hairs down. So just be careful when you're going into any type of hairs. Try to put in a lot, but don't try to pack it so much that it's so dense that it's hard to clean up later. Kill it. Hey. So now we're going to go ahead and start on the teeth. So basically we're just making kind of triangular shapes, the outline of the teeth for now, throughout his entire mouth. It is going to be a little bit more difficult coming towards his lips just because you have to make it look like it's straight on when his lips are actually 3D. So that takes a lot of time. So, if you don't get it on the first try, just be patient. Really, because it's paint, you can really work with it, take some off, put more on, until you get that desired look that you're going for. Drey was basically trying to watch rhythm and flow while I was doing his makeup, so he was trying to get around me half his time. But next I'm just going in with his teeth. Like I said, just painting in those white spots in those outlines. If you want to add more detail to the teeth, I would recommend taking maybe some eyeshadow of like a yellow or brown color, even red if you would like to create those indentations like Venom has just ate somebody of some sort. But just creating this basic outline now for the sharp snarly teeth in his mouth. I will say this is probably the most time consuming part of the makeup, so that's why I did go ahead and do Venom's mouth first. He basically has two main outlines for Venom, which is the mouth and the eyes. So you really want to get a lot of detail in when doing it. It did take us about like 2 hours just to complete this look, just because I mean I was freehanding it and just going off a whim, but I did want to kind of get it right to the point where it looked kind of more so like Venom, like it actually looked like the character. So hopefully it does, but tell me what you guys think in the comments. So now we're going back in with this black paint and we're just kind of closing up the mouth a little bit so you can't see as much of the tissue paper. That way it kind of makes it look like the texturized skin of Venom. You know, he has kind of like leeches on his face, and if you really want to get more in detail as well and you have more time for it, you can actually use the tissue around his entire faces and parts where the teeth and the eyes are not. That way you can get that more texturized look. So after this, I'm about to just go ahead and do the same molding to the eyes, as you guys can see here. And I'm going to go ahead and fill back in the black spaces. What I did off camera and what you'll see in the final results is I did move his eyes up just a little bit. I thought they were too big. They gave me skeleton and not Venom. So I actually ended up stopping his white part of his eyes right where his eyelashes cut off. So I actually did fade the black up into the bottom part of his eyes, kind of like where you put your highlight on for makeup. That way it could just give out a more like fire shape or a more contoured eye rather than the typical wide skulls.
Subscribe.